Welcome to the driver's seat. Since the introduction of the first generation Audi A7 back in 2010, it has been polarizing and turning heads. In my opinion, the best execution of the four-door coupe. You also have Mercedes-Benz and BMW. This is the second generation 2019 A7. As you can see, very mild design changes, but once I start pointing them out, you'll see that this is a totally new car, upgraded powertrain, and the interior, amazing. Back in 2010, when Audi launched the first generation A7, it was an instant success. Even though Mercedes was first to market with the CLS, Audi quickly identified themselves with enthusiasts based on the sportier nature of the design. And in the process, they've created an iconic design, which made designing the second generation A7 that we're driving today that much more challenging. They had to keep the same proportions. One of the big changes is that they've actually raised the rear lid about 33 millimeters. Doesn't sound like a lot, maybe about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, but it does give it kind of a more updated look. Overall, they made some nice little subtle design changes. The one I like the best on the outside is how you have these little lines that mimic the original Audi Quattro 30 plus years ago, and it had these little bulges. Even though these aren't really bulges, they're just these fine lines that kind of give it more of a 3D look to it. But the real story is on the inside. This is where Audi made significant changes. You have the all-new Q8 SUV and A6, A7, A8 that are getting this new interior treatment, and it is nothing short of brilliant. I think this is one of the major selling points for Audi as a brand, is that they really know how to appeal to the luxury car buyer. So you have an all-new virtual cockpit. You don't get it on all trim levels. The base model still gets analog gauges, which are fine, but here you have over a 12-inch display, and the first generation cockpit for Audi, virtual cockpit for Audi was great. This one's so much better, even more definition, more of that 3D look. You have a 10.1 inch, you have split screens here, 10.1 on top, about an 8.6 on the bottom, and again, very intuitive, very customizable, and just works brilliantly. This is where everybody spends time. You have a nice head-up display, so you want comfortable seats, check. You want all your information, very accessible, again, check. One thing that's different about A6 and A7 as compared with the A8 is that they're designed to be more driver's cars, and so you have this instrument panel tilted towards, angled towards the driver, more like creating this kind of like driver's cockpit, like a race car, and it works. This is a very sporty car, plenty of power, 335 horsepower, 369 torque. Torque is up significantly from the outgoing model, and of course you have the 7-speed Sportronic transmission, paddle shifters, no shortage of power, and this is just the A7. So just imagine S7 probably coming next year, and then followed by the RS7, which will probably be over 600 horsepower. This is a very easy vehicle to drive. It's I like the steering. The Quattro is still one of the best all-wheel drive systems you can get. And what's nice about the A7 is it's really the best of both worlds. Somebody who wants a two-door coupe but realizes it's not very practical, so they settle for a sedan, but it lacks some functionality and some style. So with the A7, you get both. You get 4 doors, so 4 adults can get in and out, but you also get the hatchback, so if you need that additional room, that utility, you can get that without getting a crossover or an SUV. And that's really what it's all about. As you can see, the A7 is very impressive. I like what they've done. We're only driving the A7. Pretty soon we'll see an S7 and probably an RS7, since they had so much success with that lineup in the past generation. I'm Ron Doran. Thanks for watching. See you next time on The Driver's Seat.